We have name puzzles, we have step stools, we have name trains with children's names on them. We have an assortment of musical instruments, the animals and things that are made out of simple wood shapes and put on wheels that kids can just roll around and play. And basically the things in here require interaction.
This might look like a scene from a far gone time. Back before the days of video game systems and smartphones, shops like these were all the rage. But here at Rootin Ridge Toymakers, owners Paul and Georgean Kyle are working harder than ever because their toys require something special that these newfangled machines of today just don't, and that's imagination.
But when kids are learning about the world around them, the simpler things that they can have to work with where their imagination actually makes things work
there he goes.
Is really what makes us smarter and sharper and more aware of the world around us.
Paul and Georgean have been tinkering away on toys since 1975, and since then, they've been located in the same city, in the same shopping center, making pretty much the same toys. Toys that bring out the child in all of us.
Nobody's ever going to win this game.
Well, if you keep playing like that.
See, look.
Cat.
Cat?
Cat won.
Cat
Not
won.
you, not me. Cat.
I don't even see a cat.
Well, they say you should chase your passion and not your pension. And the Kyles have been doing that their entire lives. Despite their shop's popularity, they have never gotten rich from it. In fact, every bit of spare change that they make goes to support the only thing they love as much as their toys, their sanctuary.
All of the sales that we made at the shop over what we needed for expenses, we used to continue to build on the house and to purchase more property. So everyone that's ever shopped at Rootin Ridge Toymakers has helped create this, what is now a Travis Audubon bird sanctuary.
What started out as a simple idea soon began to take root and sprout in Paul and Georgean's minds, to turn the place they call home into 8 acres of lush landscape teeming with life.
As you can see, it's very, very pretty here, much prettier than it was when we moved in. And some of that work's been done by us, but some of it's been done by the animals themselves. When you make good habitat, birds come in, birds that eat seeds from other plants, plant the plants, and then they end up doing their gardening for you. It's just being in the middle of nature and realizing that you're actually part of it, I think, is kind of what's made our life so special and so wonderful.
Now, Paul and Georgean have done more than just maintain the land here. For years, they literally had a bird in the hand and focused on rehabilitation.
We got permits from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and started rehabilitating, taking in injured and orphaned birds, taking care of them. Baby birds are born in the summer, and in the wintertime, when it's time to make toys, baby birds aren't being born. And so we got really specialized in taking care of insect-eating birds.
Any bird less than a week old needs to be fed every 30 minutes during daylight hours. So the schedule was getting up at 6 and starting feeding at sunrise, and then it would be every 30 minutes for the younger birds, every hour for the older birds, and that would continue till 8:30 at night. Cleaning up all the feeding utensils, prepping for the next day, fixing dinner, and then start over again the next day. Thinking about it, it was insane, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
Hey, all ready to head out? Feel free to take a walking stick.
Paul and Georgean give tours introducing people to many of the different species that call the Travis Audubon Sanctuary home. But it's not the birds perched on branches that most people come here to see. It's the ones in these towers.
In 1983, we were introduced to our first Chimney Swift in a rehabilitation setting. It came from the Humane Society. We opened the box, had no idea what the bird was. So we went to our bird book and found out what it was and discovered what the diet requirements were. And that bird we were able to successfully release, and since then we were abducted by the Chimney Swifts.
The Chimney Swift has become the unofficial mascot of the Travis Audubon Sanctuary. Georgean's even written a children's book that tells all about them.
There's a screen over the chimney opening.
They've got lots of things that make them unique, but one of the most surprising is that they can't perch like other birds. Instead, this fragile species can only cling to vertical surfaces. And that's where these tall stone towers come in.
All along the trails, we have feeding stations for the birds. We have some watering stations for them to get water. And we also have a series of 18 Chimney Swift towers on the property. This has been our experimentation on trying to find out what worked best, what was easiest to build, and what we were going to be able to get other people to mimic.
What was the attraction to the birds?
It's hard to explain to somebody who hadn't been bitten by the bird bug. There's just something magical about them, especially when you hand rear something that looks like a little piece of protoplasm. It grows feathers and you turn it loose and it flies. And to be able to contribute and help them, I mean, they're pretty, they sound nice, they clean up the insects around the neighborhood for us. I think they're an inspiration, they're free, they're just wonderful. Birds are just wonderful.
Now, caring for the sanctuary and the Swifts has become Paul and Georgean's life's work, but they still feel like there's more to be done. Over the years, it's become harder and harder to juggle the demands of their business along with their passion. So this December, Rootin Ridge Toymakers will close its doors for the very last time.
So why are you closing the toy store?
It's been 40 years. It seems like a good transitional time for us. We have such a passion for this property, and there's so much we want to still do. We want to do it while we still can. And as we transition from the toys into being home 7 days a week instead of only one, we will be able to do more on the property and introduce more folks to what this magical place has become.
Someone once said that if you want to fly, you must give up everything that weighs you down. By closing Rootin Ridge Toymakers and focusing on the Travis Audubon Bird Sanctuary, Paul and Georgean Kyle are doing their part to help Mother Nature soar.
How does it make you feel when you stand here and look out over not just what you've built, but what the two of you have decided to do, knowing that this place is going to go on long after you?
We're very much at peace. We feel like, you know, if we were to die today, we'd be fine. You know, we've got something left behind here that's going to mean something, not for us. We don't care if our name is ever mentioned at all. But we know this is going to be here. There'll be children come out here and enjoy this when there's no more green space around.
It's not that we've done all that much. It's that we have allowed all of this to actually do its own thing without interruption. Nature is amazingly resilient, and if you just give it half a chance, it blooms.